Hey, welcome back to the channel and my back office. Well, this is the one you've been waiting for. We're going to actually take all the work we've done over the past few videos and bring it together to build our money-making webpage. Over the past couple of videos, we've gone through the design aspect. We've talked about how do you design this money-making webpage. How do you know what to say on it? We've taken and talked about an autoresponder, how to capture information in that autoresponder. We've looked at the API. I've provided some tools for you to access the API that makes it easy as pie. API is your application programmer interface for the autoresponder that allows you to take forms off of your webpage that we're about to build and make it easy to go and add them into your CRM database of the autoresponder. This is going to take a little bit of time, so let's get started. All right. I have brought Pencil back up so that we could look at our design again that we built a couple of videos ago. So just to recap, this was built using a customer avatar towards a weight loss product that doesn't really exist. This particular product is focused on bringing in your energy or lifting up your energy throughout the course of the day. So we went into all of that on the design video a few videos back. I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and put a link to that just, where's it? Right up here, I think it is where that'll go. You can check it out up there. And if you haven't downloaded Pencil and built your design, you're making a mistake. You should put most of your effort into your design, researching what it is that you're going to say on the page, how you want it to look, what colors, and things like that. I talk about all of that in that video, so I'm not going to touch on it today. But the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually build this in a web page development tool called Bootstrap. Now, Bootstrap can be downloaded from this website here if you don't have it already. Bootstrap Studio, bootstrapstudio.io. I will also put a link down below for that. I do not get a commission for this. They do not have an affiliate program. I just really like this tool. I think this tool is an amazing tool to get you up and running quick. I'm not going to go through the download process, but you go through the purchase process. I will say this though. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And okay, there are two different versions you can have depending on your desires. You can get this one here, and it is only valid for a year, and then you have to buy it again. Or for $30 more, you can get this, and I like this, free upgrades forever, and they are right on top of that. They've got a support link that you can reach out to them and ask. They've got plenty of tutorial videos on how to use it. It's a great product. So let's go ahead and get started building this. How's that sound? Okay, I have opened up Bootstrap Studio here. I've got lots of pages that I have worked on over the time. What we're going to do is we're going to come in and hit New Design. We are going to not use any of the templates that they have here. Although I've created a template for myself, we're going to go and give it a title. And we've got the blank clicked here, so we're going to go ahead and select that. And we are going to call this energy capture page. That's what we're going to call it. Now you could change between Bootstrap versions. I recommend going with the latest, which it will automatically give you the latest on the top. We're going to hit the create button. Give it a few seconds. Now, let me go into a couple of things. You open this up, yours may look a little different. Yours may look like this. So this down here is where you can go in and modify the attributes of your elements. This is also allows you to edit elements. This over here, this side is where you have your different accesses to pages, to fonts, and things of that nature. You can also go in and adjust your theme, your colors and stuff for the entire thing. This side over here is the active build. This is what is on the screen. If you click that, you see that it starts highlighting information, and it actually is highlighting something here in the background. You just can't see it. So these are your elements that you can add. Go ahead and minimize some of this stuff. So we are going to be working inside of the grid for right now, and we will go ahead and build this page. I like to have as much room on my canvas as possible, so what I do is I double click here. Oh, I forgot. Up here in the corner, these are your options for the element that you have selected. Now, right now, what I have is the body selected. So if we go back to pencil, we have a background color here. Now, if we go and select whoops, clicked on the wrong thing. Come to properties, go to our color. Right there is our background color. Go back to Bootstrap. We're going to come over here, make sure that you've got body selected. Come down here, this is the font, this is background color. We're going to click right here. We're going to change this to hex value, and we're going to paste. So to copy is Control C, to paste is Control V. I believe on Macintosh you use Command, not Control, but same concept. Oh, look at that, our background matches now exactly as it does in the design. Now, the next thing we need to do is create this window inside of the background. And this window has a shadow, it has a border, so we want to do that as well. This is where our grids come in. What we have to do here is divide the page into grids. So the way we align things inside of Bootstrap is through a grid system. The grid starts with a container. So we're going to do that first. We're going to come in and grab a container, and we're going to just create a container and drop it in here. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start filling that container up. We want to be able to control height and width and stuff like that. So we do that with a row. We're actually going to add in a couple of rows. Now put it on top of the container and drop it in, and you can see them lining up here. Now, if you're going to put information inside of a row, you have to have a column. Columns go inside of rows, rows go inside of containers. So we're going to grab this, and we're going to drop. Now, what we want to do with this column is we're going to come over here. Notice the background is still up, and it says it is transparent. We actually want to change that. It's already selected as white, so we're going to make that white. Now, something I had not talked about before is these buttons up here. This button allows you to preview this. It will actually open it into your web browser. If you click on that, it opens up a web browser session, and you can see what that page looks like. Now, because I use this all the time, I've got these settings set. It will ask you where you want that to show. It'll give you some options on IP addresses. Just select one, all of them will work. Now you notice we don't see anything yet. That's because we haven't put any content in here. We've just got a square. So let's come back to our page. We want to actually grab. Okay, so we're going to come in here and select this words, the verbiage that we've already put in. We also would like to look at the size. This is 39. We're using Roboto. So we're going to actually capture that with a Control-C. Come back here. Now, how do we get it in here? This is where we come up to text. We're going to actually grab a header, and we're going to put it in this. You know what? I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to drop that. I'm actually going to come down here, and I'm going to add a row inside of this column. That did not take. I must not have grabbed it. I thought I did. And then I'm going to add a second row inside of this column. Okay. Then I'm going to grab this. I'm going to add a column because we can't add information to a row without a column. Now I'll show you why I'm doing that. Columns control alignment. So we want to align, if you come back over here to the font, we want to align this column in center. Now everything inside that column will be centered. Now we're going to grab the header and add it to that column. And you'll see that it's already centered. So now we're going to double click on that and Control V and hit a backspace. Apparently we had a character in there that we didn't need. A couple of them. So we're going to do that. Now, in our design, click off of it. This is red. So we actually want to copy that. Now, we're going to click on that, hit Control A to select it, Control A to select everything. You notice this control bar up here shows up. If you click on the little A with the color line underneath it, and then come in here and do our hexadecimal, select, or Control A to select that, Control V to paste it, tab off of it to select the color. Now you've got the color. So let's change the font. The way you do that is you, again, select it, and you come over here and hit this, and there's no fonts, so you can add a font, and then you type in the font that you're looking for. Now, we were using Roboto. Come down here and decide which one of these Robotos you want. We're going to grab this one. We're going to click it. Hit import web font. If you've got a font that you're pulling up, you can pull it up from here and import it. If you do this, it will add it down here and then give you the option to select it here. You can also come up to the top and modify your font settings up here as well. So we now have our title. If we come back to our web page, we see that it is here. Now notice that we don't have any space between the top of this dialog box we're making and the top of the window. That's not what we want in our design. We've got some space up here. So that's what we're going to work on next. Now that we've got something that will display, and the way we do that is we come up here to the column, or the row above it. We're going to add a column onto that. And then we're going to come back up here. To padding. I'm going to hit this little down arrow, and we're going to pad. I'm going to do 8, and then for the bottom we're going to do 8. Now you can go back over to your web page. It will automatically update, and you can see what that looks like. You can see that we've moved it down. You can go, ooh, 8 and 8 didn't seem to be enough. I want it down a little further than that. So let's take it. You can also type it, because sometimes typing is better. Then come back over and look at your page. Okay, like that better. It's just off the top. It gives more spacing. It just lines it up a little bit better. Okay, so what are we doing next on our design? Well, this was a header. We come in, we have a subheader. So what size was this header? This is 26, centered also, and this one is centered. So we can do all of these in the same column because they're all centered. So let's go ahead and grab this text, come over here. Let's go and add another heading right underneath that heading. Okay. Let's see what we can do. We've got our second heading. We're going to come in here. We're going to click on that, or Control A and Control V to paste it. We're going to take out the erroneous space. Control A to select. Now, this time we're going to, if I can get it to come over to options, we are on an H1. If we change that to H2, we can change it to H3. I do believe that this was an H2. Then it's also Roberto. So we are going to put that as an H2. Oh, look, it kept its color. Isn't that sweet? Why didn't it do that before? Click on it again, Control A, come back to Appearance. Scroll down. Select Roboto. There, now they match. Now we're going to add a paragraph for the next line, which will come right underneath that header. Now notice all of these are centered. So you can also control, this is set to 40. No, I'm sorry, 32. We actually want to take that down to 26. What is this? We didn't look at that before. This is 40. That's close enough. This one here we're going to go grab right now. What is this? This is 19. This is just a paragraph. So we're going to grab this sentence, come back over here. We're going to delete that header. What I did to get that was I hit the right mouse button, which brings up this menu here, and I selected delete. I shouldn't have grabbed header, I should have grabbed paragraph. Now there's our paragraph. We're going to come in here, right, double click, and then insert it. Remove any erroneous spaces. Oh, look at that. I misspelled secret. Spell check is good. Always use spell check. I use Grammarly, as you could see it pop up there, which is terrific because it goes and checks for things like, you know, so now I've cleaned up the grammar a little bit. This is bold. This is set to 16. We had it at a 19, so let's move it up to 19. Okay. And now let's look at how that looks on our page. Give it a couple of seconds to update. There it goes. Okay. It's starting to look like it should. So we go back over here and take a look at our design again before we go in. So we click off of that. We now have two columns here. We have a column here with an image. We have actually two paragraphs here. So we've got two rows and a third row with the button. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add more columns. Alrighty, so what I was saying here is that this next section is going to need a couple of columns. It's going to need a couple of rows, and so I'll show you how we'll do that. Come back into Bootstrap. We've already added that second row because I knew that we're going to need that, so we're going to minimize that right now so we can get down in here. We're going to come into this and we're going to add two columns. Now watch what happens on the screen here when I add this second column. It splits the screen. So we're going to grab this. We're going to just kind of drag this over here a little bit to size it. Now we don't have any images in here right now. So the way we do that is we import the image. Because if you click over here, see there's no images. If you right click, you can import image. Could import that image. Wouldn't do us any good, but you could import it. So let's go look at other images I've got. Let's back up here. I've got a couple of directories with images. Nope, none of those. Oh, actually, I just saw it. So let's go up one. Assets is where I have it. Here's that image that we've been using, so I'm going to import that image. Give it a second. There you go. You got that image. You would think you could drag it over here and drop it, but you can't. So what you have to actually do is come up here to an image. And what's the difference between an image and a picture? Not really a lot for what it is that we're doing. But image is the standard HTML element. Okay, what we need to do after we've created the columns is add an image to this column. Now you can do it by dragging it onto the palette or down here. Either one works, dragging it onto the palette. I'm actually going to come down to the palette here, or not the palette, but the build window, and I'm going to come back over here. Run a little slow today. And deal with our alignment because our alignment is off. We want that actually centered. So there, it's centered. Now we're going to click on the object, come over to options, and then under source URL, we're going to click that and select the image here. And there, we've added our image. Now we can grab this hook right here and adjust its size as needed. Okay? Okay, let's look back at our design. So we've got all of this text that we want to have put in here with some formatting. So let's go ahead and click that text. I'm going to double click it. I actually only want this section of it right now because I can only do one paragraph at a time. So I'm going to Control C to copy that text, come back to Bootstrap again. So can you guess what we're going to be doing next? We're going to be coming down into this column that is left over here and blank, and we're going to add in a paragraph. Let's collapse some of these things so that we can see what we're doing a little bit better. Don't need an image right now. Come down, grab paragraph. Now you can drag it over here, drop it in like we said before, double click on it, Control V, remove the spaces. Let's go look at our font over here. What size font? This is 20. Oh look, we've changed font styles. So we have to do that. Okay, let's go back over here. We were looking at this. This is Oswell 20. So let's go add a new font. Come over here. Come down here to our fonts. We can right click here and we can do import font, manage fonts like we did before. And we're going to type Oswell. Am I spelling that right? I am not. It's not Oswell, it's Oswald. There it is. Click on it, click that, hit the save. It's now there. We can then double click on it, Control A, come back over to our options, controls, change that to Oswell. There we go. Now let's change the font size to 20. I got 21, which we'll just make that 20. Okay. And because I copied it, it kept all of the formatting and the colors, so I don't have to do that. But if you wanted to do that, you can come in here, double click on a single word, and you could change the font color in the same way we did above. Now, Grammarly is telling me I should have a comment there, so I'm going to put a comment in there. Okay, again, going through and adjusting. Misspelled secret again. I'll have to keep an eye open for that. Okay, anything else? It says I should have get instead of got. Okay, kids went when you get. Okay, forget about playing with the kids when you get home. Yep. No energy. Okay, that matches. So, now, don't care about that. We're going to add another paragraph into here. This time I'm going to just drag it down here. If you drag it down here, the paragraph will end up right underneath. Of course, you have to actually drag it. There it goes. See how it highlights that and then comes down? We want to do that. We're going to actually do something else here also. Because if we look at our design, we've got this next paragraph, and then we have a button. And we want to be able to control where that button is within this area. And to do that, I need to have a column there. So I'm going to come down to our grid. I'm going to add a row underneath all of this. Remember, you have to have a column to add something to a row, so I'm going to add column there. Okay. Let's come back over here. Let's grab this. That's too much. What I did there was I clicked on the end and I held down the shift key and hit the home key to select the whole line. Then control C, verifying that we're still having the same format. Come in here, grab this, double click, control A, control V, remove the erroneous spaces, control A, change that to Oswald, take it up to 20. Now we're going to come over here. I'm going to go to controls as soon as I get it to collapse. And I'm going to grab a button. And I'm going to just grab that button and drop it right here. Now I'm going to grab this column, click on the column, and I'm going to tell it center. Now that button is centered on this text area over here. We're going to go back to our design. We're going to double click on that, grab the watch now. I'm going to click off of it. I'm going to click on it once. There's no properties for that button. If I right click, oh, I see. I used a danger button. Okay, so we're going to come over here. We're going to grab this, double click on it. We're going to, oh, did it twice. Control V to paste it on there. So what size is that font? That font is 21. So we're going to come over here. We're going to select this. We're going to come back up to our font and take it up. To 20. We're going to make it bold. Now we're going to come up into options. See where it says primary style? We're going to change that to danger. Now we're going to come back to appearance. We'll come up here and we're going to take the width and make it a little bit bigger. Alrighty, let's go look back at our design. So the text is white here. What is our width? Let's see. Location, size. So it's a width of 221. Okay. So what is our width here? Let's take this to 221 pixels. Okay. Now we can control the font that's in here. This is a system font. The one is over here we have is a different font. Whoops. I selected off of it. So let's come back down to fonts. Let's manage fonts. Okay, did I miss? Remember how that's spelled? So this is not an available font to us. It must have been one just built into Pencil. So we're going to just use the standard system font, which I think looks just fine. Okay, so let's look. That looks good so far. We've actually moved this over a little bit from our design. We have this more centered here, which I think actually looks better. So we've got to do this section down here now. And then we've got to do some other styling. So let's look at how we're looking on the web. Okay, it's getting there. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting there. So how do you think we're going to add that other level down here? We're going to add a row. So look at where you need to be. We're actually in this column. So there's our column header. Okay, that's not it. Here's our, let's collapse this down here. There's a row. So we are actually in this row, in this column. This is the column that we're wanting, and we've got a couple of rows. So let's collapse these things down that we've got so we can see where we're at. Okay, so we want to add another row to this column, and we see that it shows up correctly. We're going to add, what's it, 3 columns? 3 columns here. So we want 3 columns in that row. 1, 2, 3. Now my system's running a little slow because, again, I'm doing a lot of stuff right now. I'm recording this. I've also got these web tools up, and as you can see down here, my CPU is working itself. Okay, so now what we're going to do, let's look at this design for a minute. What we have here is an icon, text, icon, text, icon, text. Alrighty, we're talking about the 3 columns down here. Recapping, this is our benefit banner here. We've got an icon, text, icon, text, icon, text. If you come up into the image area of your components, alrighty, what we're going to look at right now is this benefits bar down here, and building this and getting these icons. What we need to do is come up under images in the component section, grab icon, drag that, no, I expanded it too far, drag it down to the column, drag it to the next column. We're going to put all 3 of them in. Drag it down. Okay, that last one didn't take. Let's try it again. There it goes. There it is. Now, if we give it a second and go, we can see that this shows up as stars. But what we need is something different. So let's go look for exclamation point, this kind of family icon, and easy to use thumb up. So where do we do that? Come over to options. Well, let's go and select. We have an icon selected. You've got the icon that is selected there. You can change the colors, but you can't really change the font here. So what do? You click on it right there. Let's cancel that. You can click on the icon here, or you can double click over here. Let's click on this one first. If you double click, you get the same thing. If you right click, you don't have an option in here to open that up. You would think they would put it in here, but they didn't. So, double click here or on the icon up here in the options tab. Now, we don't have an exclamation point listed here. They have lots of icons, as you can see. So what do we do? Well, this up here allows you to change different things. You can get different icons. Well, there's our users one, but still no exclamation point one. Got a thumb up one there. So it looks like this will do for most of it, but not the exclamation point. So we just keep looking until we find an icon that matches or meets our needs. And in this case, we can get an exclamation point right there, or this one. We're going to go with this one because it matches our design. Give it a second. Now, if you come back over to appearance, you can come down and you can adjust the size of that to whatever you need by adjusting the font size. So now if we get our text, we can grab a paragraph and put it in the column. Except what happens is it comes down here. It's not lined up correctly. So the way we fix that use span. So span is another text object. It allows you to type text. It allows you to go and embed variations inside of paragraphs and stuff like this. So let's go back over here. Let's grab the text here. Lose weight faster. We're going to come here. We're going to lose weight faster. Okay. Now, something I was looking at over here. down in the positioning, you see where it says inline. If you look, I'm going to drop paragraph down here just to show this to you. There it goes. Just needed to have time to update. Select paragraph again. Give it time to update. Now you see over here on the display, it's a block style. Well, block style means it doesn't let things be beside it. Inline means you can put them in line. And so I came over here to look at the icon to see if the icon was an inline. This says inline block, which is interesting because this one says inline. So I looked at that to see if paragraph was going to work with it. I saw that paragraph wouldn't work with it, but I wanted you guys to see what happens and what it looks like, so that if you do this, you're like, oh, that's this issue. Its display type is not in line. Okay, let's go and grab this icon, change it to, what is this? This is the family one, right? Yep, that's a family one. So we will come down to this icon. Well, let's do this the other way. Same thing. Now this one we're going to pull from Heroes because we saw it when we went by. There's our thumbs up. There's our users. So click on users. Drop it down. What size did we make this? Consistency is important. So you want to make sure that you're consistent with everything. So we're going to come back over here. And we're going to make this 23. Enter. Now we're going to grab our span, and I want to show something else here. See how this turns red, this turns blue? If it turns red, it means you can't have a sub object, where blue means you can have a sub object. Drop it there. Let's go. I might as well just add this to the last. There we go. Grab span. Just add it down here so we can knock it all out. Okay. Now we're going to grab this icon. Let me grab this icon. Double click on it. Excuse me. I find double clicking over here easier if I've got the text and stuff in place. This was also in hero icons. Suppose it could have used that thumbs up, or not thumbs up, but that exclamation point. There it is. So if you know what it's called, and sometimes they're not called what you would think, you could also search for it. So if I came up here and clicked on this and then typed, you can see it comes up. But sometimes it's not named exactly what you think it should be. So it doesn't always work the way you want. So I'm going to grab that, come back over here, set that to 23 pixels. Oh, forgot the pixel. Come on. There it goes. Now let's go and fill in the text. Copy. Control C for copy. Click on the span. Now I could come over here and click in the build area instead of on the canvas. Control V adds it in. Select the next text. I selected that early. I should have come over here and selected this one first. Control A, Control C, back to Bootstrap. We've still got it selected. Control V. All right. Now we've got it lined up. Now, there are some things that we could still do here. Let's take this column and center it, because I'm in the middle. If you look where the thing is outlined, now that's centered. Take the next column down, take this column, and we're going to make it right aligned. I'll shoot that all the way over. This one by default is left aligned, so we are now good. Let's go, and we've got a little bit more styling to do to this, so we'll work on that styling next. So let's go back to Pencil. Let's look at some of the styling we've got. We've got a little more space here than we have. We also have a shadow. We have a border that we want to do. We've put a border around this image. So let's go do some of those things. Let's come up here first. Let's click on the image. Come back over here. We want to make sure we're on appearance. Down here where it says border, we want to take and make that, let's see, what's our default? Our default is black. Let's make it really big so we can see what that looks like. Oh, I forgot, you have to come up here and select solid. Okay, this is an exaggeration so that you can see what it looks like. Now we can decrease that down. Where do we want it? That's 2. That's 1. Right there is probably good. Now if we come up to this row, we can set it to solid. It's already set to 3. Let's click off of it. Let's see what that looks like. Gosh, there we go. Give it a second. This border did not stick, but this border did. So let's go see what happened there. Image. So, oh, I must have inadvertently lowered it down 1. There we go. Click off of it. Let's go look at that again. Let it update. taking a bit to update. So how do I know that it's not done updating? If you look at this icon up here while it's spinning, it says that it's reloading, updating from the Bootstrap application. That's taking an extraordinary amount of time. There it goes. Now we've got the border around the image, the border here. We still need some more spacing, and we need shadows. Let's look at what we've got here. So we need a shadow and more spacing. Is there anything else that we need? Yeah, maybe that border around the box. That's close enough. Let's deal with the spacing issue. So let's come down here. This will drop us down to this area where I can get to the row. We're going to come back to appearance, all the way to the top of the appearance. We're going to expand this little arrow here to expand the padding. And you know what? I think I'm going to also expand the bottom just a little bit. There we go. Now we come back to the top again. Container. Get our row. Now this is really cool. That shadow is, I'll show you how easy it is to do this. Look at this. Box shadow add. Now you just select the color that you want it to be. And then you offset it by X. Come on. Offset it by Y. Then you blur it. You can spread it. And now, let's do something we haven't done before. Let's save this. Decide where you want to put it. Now I'm going to come up here and create a new directory. I'm using Windows 11, so my Windows interface may be a little bit different than yours if you're using Windows 10. So I just named it something. I named it Capture Example. You can name it anything you want. Just remember where you put it. Now I create project directory, and then I create a web dev directory so that I have it organized. I have a lot of things that I'm working on and developing or have built, and so I like to keep it organized that way. Then hit the save button. This way it's saved. Now you can see that on saved from up here goes away. So let's look at how that's looking. That's not looking too shabby. Now something we can't do inside of Pencil very well is round these corners. I think it looks better if we round the corners. The way you do that is under borders. You've got a thing called a radius, which is rounding the corners. I'm going to go, you can watch the screen here. You can see 1, 2. See, they're starting to get 3. Well, actually, that's an 18 pixel. Let's look and see what that looks like over here. Give it a chance to update. So now you notice our border is not on the column, it's on the row. And so the column is white, so it's caused us a problem. So what we actually need to do is come to the column and hit the radius in there. We did 18. Oops, that's too much. Sometimes it's best to just type it. There we go. And now, once it finishes updating, we'll see that that looks better. Now, we could see there's a little bitty gap right here. We could put the border on the column instead of the row and create the effect that we're looking for and not get those if we're just not lined up correctly. So to fix that, you just come up here and you just add your border radius here, and then we click on the row and set this. Well, my computer's not being very responsive to default. Well, we're going to take more control of that. We're going to say none. Come back to the column. And we're going to set this to solid as soon as it there we go. How's that look? Now you can adjust this here and there and make tweaks all you want. I think I'm going to come and move this down a little bit so it's got better spacing here. So the way we do that is we come in here, click on this so that we can find the column that it's on. Click on the column, come back to appearance. Let's increase this until it lines up where we want. Now, if you look up here, it says unsaved. We can hit the save button and it's saved. Let's take a look at that. All right. That looks so much better. Looks pretty darn close to this. Looks right on track. So, let's talk about this form next, and how do we build that? The form is what we call a modal. It's like a little window inside of your window. Now, if you come up over to your components section, come down to miscellaneous, scroll down, you'll see modal. Now, a modal is a little bit different. It's not really part of your container. And so what we do is we take it and drag it to the body and drop it there. Now, you notice with it selected, you have something new up here. It says show hide. If you hit the show button, there's your modal. It grays it all out. See how it grays it out here? And it gives us that grayed out appearance, making it pop from the screen. But before we do that, let's come over to the options. Come over to the options tab while we have this selected. You have your sizes, which is default, large. Let's go and show it. Extra large, small, default, large. I actually like the large better. Come down here, click on this. This is your ID. You can leave it at this, or you can change it to something else. Let's call this I'm going to call it subscribe form so that it makes sense. Now when I tab off of that, you notice it updated over here. Now I'm going to actually double click on that, hide this. Now I'm going to come back to the button, click on the button, come back to the options. See where it says target? We're going to actually click on this, and it says toggle target. That means open it and close it. Okay? Now what does that do for us? Well, let me show you. Make sure we're updated. Still updating. Now, when you click that button, the modal shows up. You can close the modal. Click it again. Cool, huh? Which is exactly what we wanted to do. So I'm going to come back here now. Now let's go and style the modal. To do that, you click on it down at the bottom, you hit the show button so that it shows up. Let's look at what we've got here. On the very top, we've got a header, we've got a progress bar, and we've got some text, all of which are centered. So let's go and do that. Now if we hit this little arrow here, it expands the modal, and we see we've got the modal header, which if we click on that, you can see right there is our modal header text. If we come back up to miscellaneous, okay, we want to really style this differently than the default configuration. So we've got to delete a few things. We're going to start by deleting the header because it's not where we want it. But we want to keep the close button up there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab a row from our components, and we're going to drag it down, and we're going to put it below the close, right there, which then gives us space underneath that X. Now we're going to go and put our column inside of that row so that we can work inside of it. That's if my laptop catches up with me. There it is. There. Now we go back down to the miscellaneous and we find our progress bar, and we put that in that column. Man, my laptop is just giving me a hard time. There we go. Let's come back up here to this. Has it, we want it to actually be 80%. We want to take that column and center it. Of course, it doesn't help that I go too far. There it is. Center. You know what? I'm going to just down. Let's put a little bit of padding. Oh, that's actually the left, isn't it? Okay. Now, let's make it a little bit taller. Let's grab our column. Whoop. Brought it something else. I'm sorry about that. Grab our column. Oh, I get the left and the rights mixed up. Let's try that again. I want that to come down, come in off of that edge. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that column just so that I can see where it is. I'm going to give it a border. Because I'm not. Okay, we're going to pin up here. We're going to change this to margins. See if we can get that to move in. That's better. Now let's take the progress bar. Go back to that. Make it 100. %. Okay. Now this progress bar was green with stripes. Let's see what we can do about that. Come to Options, Style. We want to make it Success. Oh, that wasn't Success, that was Secondary. Success. Let's make it striped. Let's make it. And let's make this 30%. Okay. Let's come back to the appearance. Wait for my laptop. We still have the progress bar selected. We're going to scroll back up here to the top. We're going to actually decrease this down. We're going to just make this 0. Make this 0. Come off of that. That fills it all the way in everywhere. Okay. Okay. All right, let's take the border off of that because we had it on the column just so that we could see where it was to get it lined up correctly. Give it just, where's that border? The background border is none. Okay, that looks better. Let's take the progress bar. Let's actually give the progress bar a border. What we want for the border is a solid on that. Just give me just a second there. Okay, so I've added a border there. Right now it's black. I don't really want it to be black. Let's see. So let's actually do this. Let's go here. Oh, I got a better idea. Let's do it this way. We're going to go 0, 0, FF, 0, 0. Tab off of it. Okay. What do you think of that? Let's give that a shot. Okay. Now, we need to come in and add another row for our formatting. Going to come in. That should. You know what? I did not go where I wanted that to go. Normally, this doesn't beat up your laptop as much as it's beating up mine. But it's doing this because I've got so much going on with recording this that it's causing it to be much slower. Okay. So now I'm going to add my column. It did not take. Let's try that again. Grab the column. There it goes. Add the column. You see we've got it here. Now we're going to go back up to the top. Go to text. We're going to add a header. Drag the header onto that column. Okay, now let's take a look at what that looks like so far. Give it time to update. Click on our button. Okay. So there's what we're looking like. What do we want it to look like? So what is the size of this? And we're going to grab that. That is 24. That's Roboto. Let's come back here. Let's come to the header. Paste. Get rid of the space. You should have this part down by now. Now we're going to come to options. We're going to make that a 2. Let's drag that back up here a little bit. Close our margins because we don't need those anymore. Look at our font. We want to change that to Roboto. We want to change this to oh, it's 26 is real close. Excuse me. 24. There we go. So what do we put next? Okay, we have a paragraph. So we're going to just grab that whole thing. Control A, Control C. Back over here. We're going to grab a paragraph. And we're going to drop it in the column. That should put it right below the header. Double click on that. Control V. Take away the extra spaces. Let it catch up with me because I'm really bogging down my laptop. There we go. Okay. Now, let's look at our design. Click off of it so I don't have anything selected. Okay, so we have these two paragraphs. Now we're getting into the form. And then we have a little paragraph at the bottom and a click to continue down at the bottom of that. So we're going to have to do something a little tricky here. Down here in the modal, we're going to collapse the head, collapse these two rows, because what I've actually done is I've added a row underneath the header. Now we've got the body. And what we're going to do before we do this is we're going to close up some of this stuff so we can see it. And we're going to come down to forms. Now a form is a container and it contains fields. So what we've got to do is add a form container that can hold those fields and the submit button. So this is how we do that. We open the forms, we come to this one area here, and we're going to actually drag this down and put it just underneath the row. We don't want to select the modal body. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab body, the modal body, eventually. And we're going to drag it up and put it inside the form. Now the form container is not, now you see how it indented that just a little bit? The form container is not a visible container, but it has functions that we need, and we'll show you how to deal with those in just a minute. So I'm going to grab that. We're also going to grab the footer and put it inside of the form as well. There you go. Now it's indented. Now, like I said, you can't see that on the screen. You can't see that on the screen here, but you can manipulate the container, and we will do that in a bit. What we're going to do now, though, is we're going to expand the body, and we're going to grab, imagine this, a row, because we want to be able to control it. No. And we're going to drop it on the body. We're going to actually grab 3 rows. I have to be patient and make sure I've actually grabbed. We're going to click on paragraph. We're going to actually right click on paragraph and hit the delete button. Okay, because we don't need it. Expand the form again. It did not take. There we go. Oh, I told you already I'm fighting a little cold. Sorry about any unpleasant sounds. One more row. And then we're going to add our columns. Add our columns to each row. I'll go all the way up here to this container. Then I'm going to minimize this to reduce the amount of scrolling and so forth, because we're kind of done with the background. Back up to grids, grab column, make sure I've got it this time, bring it over, drop it on the next row. Grab the column and put it on the last one. When you're building this and you don't have all the stuff going on your computer, all the recording and stuff like this goes much faster than it is. Now we come down to the forms again. Patience is a virtue that... Okay, so let's look at this form in our design. We have first name, last name, and email. Okay, so these icons that we're using here, if you recall, are emoji icons. So we will go grab those in a bit when we go and do the names, and I'll show you how to do that. But first, let's grab text input. That's our first name. There's first name. Goes into the column. Grab it again. This time we go into the second column. Eventually it catches up with me. That's our last name. Now this last one is our email. So we're going to actually scroll this down just a hair bit so we can get to it. Okay. Now let's go up, grab our first one. Let's look at that on over here. Let it update. Look at what it looks like. Okay, so we've got it all lined up correctly. We've got the top bar. We've got, what are we missing? Let's come over here. We're missing this statement. We're missing our labeling. And we're missing this button. So, how do we do the labeling? Before I go into this, I want to open up this document here. This is what our field names need to be. Oh look, we have a hidden field we don't have there yet. So let's go add that hidden field. So here's where you grab that hidden field, and you can just drag it down and just put it right inside of the form. There's no formatting required for that, so it shows up at the bottom of the modal. That's perfectly fine. It is still inside the form. That's what matters. Let's hit that one first since we have it selected. How we deal with this is we come over here to the options page, and we give it a name and a value. So let's go look at that document again. Let's see. It is type hidden. It has a name, next hop. times. So let's go copy, come over here. It's going to put an extra character in there that we don't need. I'm going to back away the quote. Now, that had a value. This is my thank you page. We're going to change this a little bit here. For this thank you page, we're going to make this an HTML. Now that PDF file that I've got up there, if you get the SendGrid API files, it has that PDF that you can use to get this information, and it explains about what that is. I will have a link below in the description to that set of files for the SendGrid Autoresponder API that we'll be using to build this form, in case you didn't download it before. That'll give you an opportunity to do that. So let's do this now. Let's grab this name because we want this name. We're going to come down here, and if we expand this arrow, you'll see index. So we're going to actually right click and say new page, and we're going to take out the HT, because I forgot it did that. Make sure that there's no space and hit the enter key, and we'll go look and style that when we're done here. Okay, now let's grab our first one. What is this one? This is first name. So let's come back over here. Let's grab first name so that we have it correct, because we need that field name to be exact. Come back over here. Field name is first name. Value, we're going to type first. I hit a key that I didn't mean to hit. Sorry about that. Name. Now let's select the second one and do the same thing again. That is so damn annoying. Take that quote away. Type in last name. Now, I just realized something. We are missing our icons. So let's go fix that. So the way we're going to fix the icons not being there is we'll use an emoji. Let's look at what we've got. We've got peoples and then an envelope. So let's come over here. I actually brought up on this page. Here's our peoples. This is emoji copy. Come up here, click on that, hit home to get to the front, hit Control V to paste, tab out of it, click on the last field. For first name, do the same thing. Home, Control V, tab out of it. Let's go back to emoji. Let's go find our email. This is the one that we used before, so we'll use it again. Come here. We're going to Control Paste. Now we're going to come back over here. I do believe that is just email in lowercase, so we'll just type that one. That's easy enough. Email. Okay. The form is almost done. So we've got to come over here, click on Form, and here in the actions, let's come back to our document. See, it says method is post, and this is our action right here. So we're going to put the action, change the method, give it some time to post. Okay. Excellent. This is done. All we've got to do is add our button. So we're going to come down here. Oh, we are missing something else, aren't we? We don't have this little paragraph right here. So we're going to go add that right now. And we're going to grab a paragraph from text. And we're going to drag it all. And we're going to put it underneath email. We're going to double click. We're going to put what we want in there. Remove the erroneous spaces. Now we're going to style this. Let's come back over here. Let's change the font. So what size is that? I didn't look at the size. 13 in Roboto. So let's change that to 13. Let's change the font to Roboto. Okay, now all we've got left is to deal with the buttons. Now the buttons are in the footer. Now the footer has styling to it where it goes and sticks it all the way to the side over there. I don't like it on the side. You can't really do a good job getting that to line up correctly. And so what I do is I kind of just remove those things. Wait for it. Wait for it. Okay, we're almost done. Come to the grid. We're going to grab a row. We're going to drop a row there. See how that row sits? It it's styled inside of this area and stuck over onto the side. And so what we need to do is actually take that row outside of the footer and put it right there. Okay, so it puts it at the bottom where we want it. So let's go get a column because we're going to add the button to that. And as we know, we need a column to do that. So here we go. There's our column. This also gives us the ability to style that a little bit better. Now we're going to go back up to controls. We're going to grab a button. And we're going to drop it on that column. We're going to click on the column again. We're going to tell the column to be centered. No, we really are. We're going to tell the column to center. There it goes. We're also going to put a little bit of padding on the bottom because I don't like that button being right on the bottom. So we're going to, there we go. Now we're going to click on the button and we're going to style the button. We're going to come over here. It's an element button. You can click on this, give it a chance to show you what some of the other things or options are. You can make it a link or a button. This is not going to be a link. This is actually going to be a submit. So button type is submit. Color we want is danger. Okay. Default size, we're going to go large. And we're going to even make it bigger. Now, you can come in here. Trigger on load. Tell it to bounce. Play. So, okay. This is just how you do that. This is under the animation tab. I showed you this on one of my examples and several page or videos back. That's how you do that. So let's go back in here to style this. Let's go look at what we had for our text. We had the buttons relatively narrow. Our text is continue. It's 20. Click to continue. It's 27 and it's roboto. Roboto. Add. Highlight. Let's come back down here. And change this to 27 pixels. Tab out of it. We're going to set it to bold. Okay. Let's go and take the height of that button and make that button not quite so tall. Oh, that's interesting. There must be well, that didn't behave the way I wanted it to. So is there anything else that we did with that? Nope, that button is just there. Well, because I've got it, let's show you how you can also add shadow to the button. It is treated like a box so that you can change the color. Excuse me. Blur. Do we want to spread? No, we don't want to spread. We're going to just blur. Makes it look like it pops off the page. So, okay, let's save. Let's go look at what that looks like. Let it load, let it update. Almost done. There we go. Now we push this. Boom. See how it bounces like that? Isn't that cool? Looks really good. How does it compare? Pretty good. So, what does the thank you page look like? Okay, this is the last thing to do, is the thank you page. So, we're almost done with this website. What we want to do now is we want to come up to the body. And we want to come over here to let it catch up with me. We want to capture this background color. Copy. Now we're going to go to thank you. By double clicking on thank you, we're going to come to body. Now all of this should look familiar because we've already done it once. We're going to set this background color. So we're going to click. We're going to come here. We're going to go there. We're going to select all. Control V to paste. And select, and boom. Okay, so this is the same thing. So you're not, I'm going to probably speed this section up because you're not going to need to see me go do all of this again. When we get to the interesting parts, we'll slow down. So we need here. This wide. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to make it white so it's transparent. Flip it down. It's more solid. Set it with 3. 3. Okay. Now it's that column. 1, 2, 3. Next, I'll move this off the screen so I can see it up here better. Okay, so So let's talk about this piece here. Let me click off of this. I've got all this part done here. This is set to 66. We're talked about this before. You're almost done, showing that you're not complete. This part here is a video, and so what we're going to do is we're going to actually embed a video into this. So I have two monitors. I actually moved this off to the second monitor so I can watch it, not watch it, but reference it as I'm building. So let me move it off screen. So in this column here, we're going to add that video. We want that also to be centered. So we're going to center align that. Give it a second to get that set up. There it goes. Your video is under your miscellaneous in your components. It was right there on top. Come on. Where'd it go? There it is. So right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take that and we're going to drag it down and drop it right there. Now, for this video, we are going to have options that are different than any of the other things. One of the things that we can do is select where we have our video at. If I can get it to come up. So I'm going to just hit this down arrow so you can see this. So you can do a Facebook video, an HTML5, you can do a Vimeo, or YouTube. I personally do YouTube videos. And so the way you do that, now when you do a YouTube video, you get a, well, I'll tell you what, hang on a second. Okay, so I brought this up off screen so that you could see this. This is my welcome video to my list. Now when you build a video on YouTube, they give you this BE URL. You cannot use that inside of this. You've got to use this. Now, if you notice, this and this is the same. So this is the same video, but you need to use this inside of Bootstrap. And then you just pop it in there. And you can set the size of it. And hey, look, there I am. Okay. You can set it to autoplay. You can set it to loop. You can show controls or not show player controls. If you show controls, it allows them to pause the video. You can do privacy enhanced mode. I've actually never done this, so like it says, options have been modified. Middle click to reset. So I've never done the enhanced private mode. I don't know what that does for you. So this is how I usually have this set up. Now I may go and change the width of this a little bit to, let's go, let's see, what is my ratio here? YouTube is 10:9:20, 920 by 1080. So that's a 1.778. So if I want 600 times 1.778, that means I need it to be let's try that again. 600 divide 1.778. That means if this is 600, maintain ratio, this needs to be 337. That maintains my 1080 ratio from YouTube. So wanted to point that out. Let's go ahead and finish the rest of this. So what we've got, pull this back on screen since I've taken it off. What we've got to do is add our call to action here. We then add our benefits, all of which you've done before. So I'm actually going to add another row into this to make up for that. Let's go ahead and add another row. Back up here. Now just go row. Let's try again. Okay. Go. Okay, let's go back to the page. We're going to just copy this section right here. So what I'm going to do is grab this here. I'm going to copy. Copy. Over here. Look at me. There, it's on. Paste inside. All right. So let's look at the words. Let's do the words a little bit differently. Go back to this page. So what I'm going to do now. Go here. Catch up with me. Then I click here. I'm going to do copy. Back to the page. Make your page load. And we're going to come back down here, expand that, go to the other, and we're going to paste inside. Okay. Now we're going to do it again. This time we're going to grab patience is what you right now, that's for sure. Grab that. There it is. Hold the shift key and click on both of those. Right click. Copy. Wait for it. Come right here. Next time I'm going to do something, I'm going to do that for sure. Right click. Go to paste inside. And boom, it's there. One more time. We're going to expand that. We're going to grab, click on, hold the shift key, grab pan, or sand. Right click. Copy. Come to the last column. As soon as it gets there, we're going to paste inside. I noticed that doesn't have an entire call. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do this. So, yeah, we're going to go over add. Sure, we're going to on top. We're going to add a little bit of space between that. And we're going to add a little bit of space on the bottom. Okay. Here we're going to click on this column over here. And we're going to, set that to right line. Maybe sometime this week. We're going to grab that center column. We're going to make that center line. There it goes. Okay, let's take a look at what that looks like. Oh, you see the bubble? Yeah, right on top. We're going to top of the list. Roll that down, push down a bit, around corners, let's add in shadows. We've done all this before, so it'll be a good refresher. Grab this top column. Okay, this two, 12 pixels. This two, 12 pixels. Now, something we want to do is we want to make sure that everything matches. We want all the colors to match, we want spacing to match, we want everything to match. I think I'm going to grab this color here. Let's drop this more. Let's add a little zoom catches up with me. Okay, that's not. Let's do 0. That's not the effect we're looking for. Column. Let's see if we can put more space to top with. Okay. Cool. Where did I put the shower? It's not here. Oh, there it is. Okay. 11, 9, 8, 3. Okay. 9, 9, 8, 3. No. Okay. We're looking pretty good here. I like how this is looking. This has got everything that we're talking about. The last thing we've got to do is the actual linking of this button. Now, this doesn't have a real product, but what we would do is click on the button, come to options, set it to a link, and then this field here you would put your whatever your URL is. We'll just try that for fun, just so that you can see it work. Okay, tab off of it so it sets it. Save our updates. Let's look at this one more time. Let it update. Okay. Oh wow, it's taken a long time to load this time. There it goes. So you can hit the play button and it will start playing right off of YouTube.
Del Murphy here. I'm the guy behind the website.
that you just visited. I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. Thank you. Now, obviously this video doesn't match this product line, but that's okay. This is just an example for you guys to learn how to do this. If you click the Watch Now button, because it's talking about a video message, it would go to a website. I just put in some bogus thing, which is actually I expected to work. So, oh, I know why. That particular site is not. That particular site is not an HTTPS. So let me go ahead and save that again. Let's go back up there one more time. Let it finish loading. Looks really good though, doesn't it? Now when you hit the click, it will go off to the new website. Now, this is where we had put our product page that we're driving to. This is obviously not a product page. It is just another website that I've built for another purpose, but you would put your product page as the link that you're trying to drive traffic to, and voila, we're done. So we have one last thing to do inside of Bootstrap, and this is how do you get it out of here and onto the web? Good question. This little button up here, export. Click on the little arrow first, go to export settings. This is going to ask where do you want to put this. So you just browse your directory. Now, if you've got the appropriate configuration that you can upload directly to your web page, you could do that. I prefer to use FTP because it gives me an opportunity to actually control everything. I guess I never thought about it, but I guess I'm a bit of a control freak. I like having control of all aspects of what I'm doing. So this is the directory we created earlier. I'm going to show you what that looks like after we select the folder. Let it do its thing. Keep everything else the same. You don't need to do anything else other than set the folder. Hit the export button. You see down here in the corner where it's popping up, actually right behind my head. Maybe you don't see it. It's telling you its status and its progress. Save the settings. Now in the future you can just come up here and click the export and it will go ahead and export it after you've made an update or something like that. So let me show you what that directory looks like. I do not have it open, so I'm going to just grab and I will bring it on screen once I get there. Okay. Projects. Web dev. Okay, so I know that was exciting to watch, wasn't it? Me looking up. Yeah, I didn't do what I wanted it to do. There it goes. Windows 11 has some cool features I like. One of these is the tabs in Notepad and stuff. So this is what it looks like when it's exported out. We exported out to the same directory we were saving the file in. This is the Bootstrap file. When you're modifying, this is what you're modifying. Then it creates your index and your thank you. It also creates this assets. Now, my suggestion is that you, let me back up here. What do I say? Copy. Go back into here. Paste. This is going to copy that subdirectory, or at least it should. Copy that subdirectory I just copied. And this is added in my API tools in here for accessing the autoresponder. Now, you're going, I don't have that SendGrid directory. All you got to do is follow the link below for the SendGrid API files. It will be listed down there. What do I call it? It will be labeled as My PHP Files to Access SendGrid API. If you download those, follow that link, you can download that and get access to the SendGrid. There's an API documentation in there, tells you how to set it up SendGrid. I have another video that tells you how to set SendGrid up for your business. If you haven't followed that, you need to do that. There's another video that you can use to set up the API inside of SendGrid. All of that is included in my videos, so go to my channel, you can see all of those things. And that's it for now with this demo. We have completely built this. Well, that wraps up this series on how to build a money-making website. Now, to recap, what we have done is we've gone through the design process, showing you how to design a website, how to know what to say on that website, where do you get that information from. We have gone through an autoresponder setup, including setting up the API. We have gone through how to actually build it. The last thing that's left to do is for you to upload it to your web hosting. Now, if you don't have web hosting that supports PHP as well as free-formed web pages, I'll have send me a message down below and we'll talk to you about that. There are several options that can help you do that. I have a couple of options available that I can make available to you. So, hey, we've gotten it done. So the last step that we did in the demo was to link it to a web page. Now, I just linked it to some random web page. I don't have a product page for this demo that we've been working on over these last few videos. This page is for a non-real product. But that being said, you can find products. You may have a product. You may want it going to your website for your storefront. All of these things are options that you have. It definitely is something that you can do. And in the process, you can capture that contact information so you can remind people of what you've got available for them if you have a physical storefront. Thanks for watching. Remember to push the subscribe, like, and notification buttons below. Please share this video with others if you found it useful. If you have another topic you would like me to cover, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment area below the video. Again, down in the description, I have all the links I talk about in this, including a link for Bootstrap Studio. I do not get a commission for Bootstrap Studio. I do not get a commission for Pencil. I make no money off of all of this. It is just your likes that keep me going and your subscriptions. So, feel free. No, don't make me beg. Just hit the subscribe button. I can use it. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.